Hello everyone, my name is Soumodip Saha and my student ID is 0772635. And our topic today is two interesting laws that Canadian firm can consider to expand their operations. So I have come up with two interesting plans from the country India, which is my home country. So let's get on with it. So the first law I have come up with is back in India, whenever there's a search necessary where a woman citizen is involved, uh, like if there's a search going on where a woman is involved, then it is a mandatory to be done by a female police officer. Like only a female police officer can physically touch a woman. A male police officer cannot in any circumstances. There are few circumstances, exceptional cases. Other than that, a male police officer cannot touch a woman citizen. They do not have that right. If by any chance there is a situation where a female police officer is not present, and search is required in that case, in that particular time, if there is a search required and there is no female officer present, then in that particular case, the particular woman can refuse to go to the police station and refuse to be searched. But if there is a regular situation where a female citizen or a woman citizen is involved in a case of murder or half murder or any serious crime, then any police officer, irrespective of their sex, can uh, arrest and search that particular woman. And also, back in India, a police cannot arrest a woman at night from the time 6 p.m. in the evening to morning 6 a.m. That is overnight, unless it is a very emergency situation. Okay, coming to the Canadian law, in Canada, there is no law that prohibits a male police officer to search a woman during a stop. Like, if there is a uh, case where a female citizen is asked to search, a male police officer can do it by themselves. There's no need for a female police officer to be present, or there's no need for a female police officer to do it. A male can do it anytime they want. But according to the police code of practice, we know that any search that requires the removal of more than one object, like an outer coat or a jacket or gloves or any religious items like a hijab or a band or anything like that, that has to be done by the same sex of police officer. It cannot be done by an opposite sex, be it a male or female. So, in short, a male police officer can search a woman citizen in Canada. They cannot do it only if it is a strip search. In case of a strip searching, then if there's a searching involved where a woman citizen is involved, then it has to be done by a female police officer and not by a male police officer. Uh, yeah, coming to the point that by law, a police just cannot randomly stop you and just start searching. Um, in a very different cases, in most of the cases it cannot happen, and by law, the citizen can file a case on spot against the police officer. But in a scenario where like I'm driving a car, or a female is driving a car, and suddenly they stop you and they want to search your they want to search what is inside your car or search anything is there in your body, then it's best practice to do it by the same sex. So why I feel the Indian law is much better, it is that implementing a law that restricts police officers to conduct searches based on the sex alert is not advisable for a lot of reasons. Mostly coming to that, the woman will feel safer. If like I'm talking to my sister or my mother, anyone, of course, if they get pulled over or anything like that, when um, search is required, it is like human nature and best practice to do it by a woman. There are a lot of times when police officers search innocent people and women, right? So in that case, anywhere that woman getting searched is a traumatizing thing for her. And on top of that, if it is done by a male, that will be like epitome of some epitome of a mental state. So in that case, it will be better if it's done by a female. So there should be a law because of that reason. And the main another case can be there are a lot of manhandling cases by police officers, male police officers or female. They just search people just like that without any reason, just to like I don't know why, but they do it. So other than that, in that case, a woman cannot in this case if there is a law where it is required for a female police officer to search a woman and it has to be done by the same sex, then the woman cannot file an official complaint to the police officer for manhandling, for inappropriate touching. It is good for the police officers too. We can omit the situation where a male, even we can, even there are scenarios where a male police officer is required to search a female, but they feel very uncomfortable touching the woman, and in that case, this is law is better if it is made mandatory. And it is it is equality and non-discrimination. Such a law would be inconsistent with the principles of equality. Professionalism and training, that is another factor. And one of the main factor has to be the privacy and dignity. The right to privacy and dignity is for everyone, and restricting searches based on the sex of police officer may not necessarily guarantee the greater privacy. Operational challenges. Implementing a law that requires officers of the same sex to conduct searches could present operational challenges, especially in situations where officers of the same sex are not really available. There are pros and cons to both of them. The cons being female police officers are low in number in the police force, and the female person is not always present during a search and cannot be there all the time. They are not there. So those are the cons. Based on the sales could operate. Uh, it is difficult to build trust and community relations in that scenario. They ensure that all police officers are equipped with the necessary skills, of course. So, what can police forces do is they can provide professional skills to handle the situation, and to be respectful, unbiased, and effective manner to conduct the search. So, I feel a law should be there where female police officer has to be present, or a female police officer has to conduct a search on a female citizen, or the same sex. I know there are a lot of cons to it, but I can see the pros more than that. And for the woman to feel safer, I think this is the best practice. Coming to the second part of the presentation, another law that is mandatory in India, according to the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2017, 2007, with a little modification 2019. The Act tells that children, including both sons and daughters, have a legal obligation to provide maintenance and basic amenities to their parents and to the elderly parents of senior citizens. In short, it requires, it is by law. Uh, it is by law, and will be dealt severely if a child neglects their senior parents when they can't fend for themselves. So I don't think this is like something to talk about, because it's basic knowledge that not only in human nature but in animal kingdom, that when we were kids, when we were children, we couldn't fend for ourselves, we couldn't provide anything for ourselves, so we had to rely not only entirely, like completely, we have to rely on our parents to provide us with food, basic amenities, basic education. Now when we grow up, we start earning money, we start getting our own family. If we and our parents get older and older, and they can't, they're incapable to do something on their own, do anything on their own. It is our responsibility to do it. It is our responsibility to take care of them. I don't think we have to talk about it. This is basic thing. So this is the law that was recognized first in Section 20 of the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956. That there is this personal law statute is in India that imposed an obligation on the children to maintain their parents. There are multiple instances in cases in India where I've seen with my own eyes, and also heard stories on the newspapers or from my parents, from my elders, that there are a lot of grandparents and elder people who were kicked out of their own house because they had signed their will, telling that okay, now the children are the owner and they are the heir to it. And the children, after getting the signature, they kick their own parents out, stating that we are the owner now, we don't want to keep someone who is incapable of earning or doing anything. I think this is inhuman. This is treatment of the highest, the worst of natures. So there are a lot of, so this law can suppress that and reduce that kind of crime, destroy the kind of crime completely. If the children fail to comply with the rule, that action allows for enforcement through including attachment of property, high pension, or so if they fail to comply with it, so the government will take care of them. and give the property back to the parents, or deduction from the salary and pension, or the main scenario is the imprisonment for a long time. So in Canada, there is no such law. Canada, adult children are not required by law to support or care for their aging parents, either financially or otherwise. So in Canada, they do it. Mostly the children do it because of love and their affection or personal responsibility. That's all. And that's what matters, to be honest. Canada, unlike some other nations, does not have a legal system that requires filial responsibility or places a legal obligation on adult children to assist or care for their aging parents. For elderly individuals, there are special programs and services available in Canada that help support them, such as healthcare, social assistance, senior specific benefits. We can see all around Canada. In Ontario, there are a lot of old age buildings where senior living buildings where it's like a 55 plus building where all the seniors stay. Uh, that's where all the most of the children keep their parents when they get elder. In any situation happens when elderly needs an assistance financially, they're eligible and have to go for government eligible programs and subsidies. So why the Indian law is much better? Of course, aging population. Canada is one of the countries which has a very aging population. Like many developed countries experience a significant increase in its elderly population, uh, and those elderly people are vulnerable to this kind of problems. So India, so yeah, so the population is, if this kind of what the problems I told about in India, back in India, like kicking the parents out and all those stuff. If that happens in Canada, there's nowhere they can go. There's no law that tells they cannot go to the court and tell, okay, he has to take care of me or she has to take care of me because I did it before. But there's no law. The court can just dismiss the case. And it is, and because of this, we all know that there's a notion that in Asian people are more communal and family oriented. Therefore, children have more respect, and thus more percentage of children takes care of the aging parents in their own house till they die. Now, because of the Western shift, it is shifting day by day, increasing day by day, where parents are staying outside alone, not with their kids. But this was a notion before. But there is a big difference in North American children who are usually unusually focused on, because North American children are usually focused on individualism and youth, because from a very long time they are independent from very small as they're independent, so they don't have that affection towards parents what we Indians or Asian people have. They are so much more focused on developing careers and raising kids that they show little respect and time to their aging parents. There was an interview which I saw of Aishwarya Rai where she had told, where Oprah had asked her if she stays with her parents. She said yes. And it's normal in India. And it's okay. We don't have to book appointments to meet our own parents. If you want to meet our parents, we can just go to the house. We stay at the house. They stay at our house. This is what happens in India. And I think this law has to be there because old people are very vulnerable. They cannot protect themselves. And it's basic responsibility for the children to take care of their own parents when they get older. So, but that we understand, like a normal, smart, anyone can understand. But a lot of individuals, exceptional cases where they don't understand it and just throw their parents away or feed them, like throw them on the streets, let them do whatever they want, and those parents raise those kids. So I feel there has to be a law to stop this thing, and there has to be a law needs to be passed in Canada which restricts this kind of problems. And these are the references I used. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.